Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of No Cover TV podcast. That's right, I'm Big Al, your host, and look who's in the house. Gary Farmer's in the house, and we're going to have a great, interesting interview with him today. But first and foremost, I want to thank each and one of you for checking out the podcast. All the audio podcasts that are on Spotify are now on YouTube. You can check out all the audio podcasts, plus now the new video podcast that we're doing that are on YouTube. And it's live on Facebook when we're doing the interviews. Oh, it's a great thing. It's a great thing. And if you see the ticker right here below, you'll see we have a sponsor, 616 Kebab Stop, a Mediterranean restaurant in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Big shout out to them. And also, I didn't finish, but 90% of the website is done. So I'm putting it up so you can go check out the website. And don't nail me for not finishing everything. There's some more touches I've got to do to it, but website building is not easy sometimes. Give me a break. I'm in the music business. So anyways, next, you know what I'm going to say. What is it, people? My three favorite words. Support, support, support. Support these artists. Go to the shows, pay a cover charge if there is one, then get to that swag table, get the album, the CD, a hoodie, a t-shirt, a coffee mug, a bumper sticker, a keychain, perfume. Oh my, it goes on. Get to the stage and enjoy that show, and hopefully stay afterwards. Meet the artist, get an autograph if you can. You just never know where the artists are going. And remember, the artists are doing what they do because they love doing what they're doing, and it puts a smile on your face, and in return, your smile puts a smile on their face. It's a great thing. It makes this world go around. Yes, it's a beautiful thing. So anyways, in the house today, Gary Farmer's in the house. We are going to have a great interview. This gentleman is amazing right here. He's an award winner. He is a sound engineer, producer, pianist. Oh my goodness. The book, we're just going to open the book on Gary today, and we're going to get to know Gary all the way today. All right. How you doing, Gary?
Well, I hope you don't ask too many things that will send me off to jail.
We'll try to keep some of those years past, okay? Because I don't want to go either. I'll be in the Huska with you. So it's a pleasure. We finally get to sit down and have an interview, my friend.
Yes, we've been trying to do this for several weeks, and just happened to catch me on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, and to me, it feels like it's a Monday or Tuesday. It doesn't seem like a Sunday at all, but work is work. So,
That's right.
anyways, my friend, so you was a week ago, ISSA in Atlanta. You were there, my friend.
Yes,
Yes. Yeah, and you took home an award.
I did. The Gold Award for Sound Engineer of the Year.
Excellent. And I'm a little jealous. I'm not mad, but you could have shared that award. I was up for sound engineer too, you know. You took my award, Gary. Just kidding, my friend.
Well, I'll share.
There we go. Let's share a little bit here. Well deserved, my friend. Well deserved for what you do. And we'll
Thank
get
you.
into that
Thank
stuff.
you.
It is amazing, your background, my friend. And what I want to do with you before we get to what's going on now, I want to get in ahead of yours. Can I do that?
Sure.
All right. Well, I need to know a little bit more about you, Gary. So let's go back to around the 8 to 10, 12 years old age when we're just starting to get into the music, listen to what our parents, our siblings are listening to, and we're grabbing a hold of what we like. What were you kind of grasping on music-wise back then in those days?
I actually had my first piano lesson at 6 years old.
Oh, 6 years
And
old,
I
really?
cried so pitifully after it, my mother wouldn't send me back.
That's how it's on your back.
But 2 years later, they talked to me about taking organ. And immediately I thought, oh, piano lesson, I don't want to do this.
No.
And they said, no, we're going to go look at organs. The local music store has a sale going on the 4th of July. We're going to go take a look at organs. They knew I loved music. I had some cousins and uncles that played bluegrass music. And every weekend we would get together at my grandmother's house. They would go off in a back room to play music, and I wasn't allowed in. If you didn't play, you didn't get in. But I sat outside the bedroom door and listened the whole time. Wouldn't go outside and play with the other kids, just sat there and listened. So they knew that I had a love of music. And we went to look at organs, and I was amazed. Here was a lady pulling out stops on the organ and both hands and both feet and turn into sheet music. And I said, I want to do that.
Oh, wow.
And so I started taking lessons right after that. Completed 6 months of lesson plan in 2 weeks.
Whoa.
And 6 months later, I was playing Christmas carols on the radio.
You're kidding me.
And so it just took off from there. I drove everybody crazy. I practiced 3 to 4 hours every day.
There you go.
You know, coming from school, do my homework, and immediately sat down and start playing organ up until I had to go to bed at night. So, you know, my brother would say, "Make him turn it off. I'm sick of that." You know? But I had a love for it. My music teacher had me start playing horse shows. I don't know if you ever knew that whole thing that went on. Organists would play for walking horse show.
Oh, okay.
And she played horse shows. Of course, the shows would be, you know, from 10 in the morning till midnight. And she said, I just can't do that long of a day without some help. And I started working horse shows with her. And I was about 10 or 11 years old at that point. Got into recording when I was 14. I was one of the first people in our area that had a stereo cassette recorder.
Oh, wow.
And I would record and then play along with it. And I got to looking at the mechanics of what is a erase head, what is a playback head on a cassette deck. And looking at it, you see a left channel and a right channel. And I said, I wonder if I could cover up that erase head, record on the left side, and then record on the right side separately. And I could.
And you could.
So then I had 3 tracks, 2 recorded, and I could play along with it.
Wow.
So I was into the recording thing, got one of the first reel-to-reel 4-track TAC recorders, and started recording and bouncing tracks. Got a couple of bandmates I played with in high school, and we started recording. And I've been in that end of it as well ever since.
Ever since. Okay. Piano at 6. Went and got the keyboard. Now, what music were you listening to at that time?
Everything. I actually listened to everything. I never was really into classical music, but I played everything. Played organ at church. Started playing organ at church when I was about 12. Played rock and roll, played country music, played jazz, played rhythm and blues, a little bit of everything. One of my friends, ever since that time period, we love to play Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Make Me Smile and 25 or 6 to 4 and, you know, things like that. And nobody else would play with us because they didn't understand the mechanics of all the horn lines and things. So between the two of us, we're sitting there playing guitar, piano, or organ, horn lines. I'm kicking foot bass on the organ. And we finally found a drummer that would play with us. So the 3 of us were playing together, playing dances and things. So.
Really? Now, I know you're virtuoso in the piano and organ and stuff. Any other instruments you dabble in?
I play a little, very little guitar. I know how to make the chords on guitar. I just have never really worked at playing. I learned the position of the chords and how the fretboard and everything's laid out so that I could understand the voicing a guitar player was playing to figure out if I could do the same type of voicings on piano or organ. So I have a better grasp of what they're doing and what they can play and what they can't play.
True, true, true. And being a sound engineer and producer, you know the mechanics of all it all, and you know where to fill in certain things and with your board and all your equipment stuff to help them with their music.
That's right. And, so many people that do home recording where they're keyboard players, they try and stack tracks using one keyboard to produce all their sounds. And I don't do that. If I need a bass guitar sound, I go looking for a software package that is just one bass guitar. If I want precision bass, I go looking for a precision bass guitar sound or a Music Man guitar sound, or same thing with drums, a certain drum sound. I go looking for that drum package or strings or anything else. Uh, I've been on that mission for a long time, and I've got way too much invested in software. But it's one of those things that keeps advancing as well. And if you look at a keyboard or one of your typical software packages, okay, they have 1,800 sounds in the keyboard or in the package. Yeah, they're great sounds. How many of those sounds can you truly use in most recording?
Right.
Most everything that you're recording needs bass, drums, rhythm guitar, piano, maybe organ, maybe strings for your basic track. Lead guitar stuff, string instruments for the most part, I don't try and duplicate. I hire people in to do those parts.
Okay.
Producing a Freebird type guitar solo, you're not going to pull it off really well on a keyboard.
No, not really well at all. There's just so much you can do before you need to take that next step and get a professional studio musicians in, or the plug and play that you get that is just for
That's
that
right.
sound. Yeah, just for
That's
that
right.
sound. Now, your studio is what, Farm Boy Music Group?
Yes, that's actually the name of the parent company. I set up Farm Boy Music Group and called it that because I have a publishing company called Farm Boy Music. It's BMI company. And then I have my recording studio as well. At one time, I was doing promotions as well and booking, and I put it all under the title of Farm Boy Music Group. I got away from the booking, and I got away from really trying to do promotion for other people, simply because I got stretched too thin. Focus on my strong suit and do it to the best of my ability, and try and do it at a rate that's going to help independent artists and songwriters get a good product for sale. So many times you go to a studio as a songwriter or an artist and you spend thousands upon thousands upon thousands to get an album put together. And I've always tried to keep it as low as possible to try and help them out. I want to help people in this business keep as much money in their own pocket that they can and still have a good product to sell.
Bravo. That's great, Gary. And that's why I do what I do. I don't charge the artists anything to come on TV, radio, or podcast. It costs a lot of money to do what we do. And, I was a musician from 85 to 97, still am, but I don't play out anymore. But yeah, equipment is expensive now. And, like I said, getting in the studio is expensive and all that stuff. So, yeah, it's great if we can help out the artists a little bit.
That's right. And as a consequence of it, I've met some wonderful songwriters and artists, which that also helps me down the road. If I've got somebody that I'm doing a project for and they need a song, I can call in some of the people that I've worked with and I know their material and have heard things and say, hey, you really should talk to this guy. He's got a great song for you, suits you perfectly. and try and help them out connecting.
That's great, Gary. That's great. Now you've been in the studio, what, 38 years, 37, 38 years?
I actually opened up Farm Boy Music Group in 1985 when I started my publishing company.
85.
I didn't plan on starting a publishing company in the beginning, but I ended up in a bad publishing agreement that I said, this will never happen again.
Good, good.
And I started my own publishing company and try and help songwriters be protected on what they're doing.
Bravo, my friend. Bravo. Yeah, I don't like the crap that goes down in this business sometimes. So my foot shakes. I put it up their butt if I have to.
Yep. Yep.
So now this is a big question here for me because I love going in the studio and stuff and working. How much analog equipment do you have versus digital?
Everything I have is digital now.
Is it okay?
I've recorded to computer. I was recording to tape. I was mixing back analog, and I got back away from that. Tape has become so hard to find.
Yeah.
And good quality tape. I mean, that's the big thing. Plus, in today's world, if you're going to do record promotion, if you're going to do song promotion, you're going to be in the digital format.
You are going to throw that digital world around, yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter what type of equipment that you've got. You're going to be back in digital before it's all over with.
You will.
So I just stay in the digital format. I try and introduce actually a little bit of noise into the signal chain when I'm cutting live instruments and live musicians.
Okay.
In order to help cut that brassiness that so many times you get from digital.
There's a little tinny.
Yeah. There's a certain warmth that comes from cutting analog that you lose in the digital domain. So I try and I've got a couple of plugins that actually are tape simulators that I mix back through to give that certain warmth.
Right. Good. I like that. I didn't know. I haven't been into the big studio for a while, so I didn't know what new plugins, toys we had.
Right. In fact, I had it was an ex-producer that produced a band I was with, Gold Rush, that we cut on a 24-track digital Sony machine, one of the first ones in Nashville back in the 80s. And he called me and he said, hey, you want 2 of these 24-track machines? I said, I don't know that I need 2 24-track machines. He said, they're free of charge. You can have them. I said, what's wrong with them? He said, they're pristine. They're like brand new. You can have both of them. I said, why are you giving them away? He said, one major problem. Tape is not available.
That's true.
He said, they are boat anchors.
They are. They are.
So I turned them down, and we talk quite often. He now lives in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Have you ever heard of the band The Classics 4? You remember them?
It rings a bell, yeah.
They did Spooky, and the original band that did Spooky, Dennis Yost and The Classics 4. Well, Joe Wilson was one of the members, and Joe lives in Fort Wayne, Indiana now. He has retired. We talk almost weekly about music. I send things to him to let him know what I'm doing, and he makes suggestions if he hears something that, you know, Joe has been a great friend and taught me lots through the years. And now it's kind of turned around. I've become the teacher for him.
The teacher to him. Turns right around. That's pretty cool.
That's right.
That's pretty cool. Amazing. Now I want to talk a little bit about your music and stuff. Now you're an amazing piano player. Like I said, you're a virtuoso with the keyboards.
Thank you.
Beautiful. I listen to your music. Oh my, oh my. We're talking about a little bit in that in a second here. Now you're out there playing. Didn't you? You're pretty popular in New Zealand, Australia, and America here, right?
Right?
Oh yeah. So you're getting around now. When you were down with ISSA in Atlanta the past week, Joy Adams was with you from New Zealand.
Yes.
Now you guys kind of been collaborating for some time, haven't you?
I've been working with Joy for almost 15 years, and I met her for the first time in person last year.
Last year, okay.
Everything we have done is over the internet. We actually started working with her, cutting vocals and sending the vocals to me right after COVID.
Oh, okay.
Before I would get the tracks ready for her and send to her, and she would go to a local studio and cut vocals there and mix and complete the projects. And during COVID, she said, I really need to cut vocals on some stuff and I want to do some writing, but I'm just in a position that I can't get to a studio, can't afford the studios here. COVID has so many things shut down, and she does radio from home
Oh, cool.
for the New Zealand Country Music Radio Network. So she called me and we were talking, and I said, why don't you cut vocals at home? And she said, well, I can't do that. I said, you do radio. Can you record your vocals there? And she said, well, I hadn't thought about that. I said, let's give it a shot. So she recorded just a song that she had written that wasn't planned for release, and it turned out so well, she released it. And it got lots of streams, and she was real happy with it. And she said, let's do another one. So we recorded another one the same way. Shortly after that, she called me one night and she said, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm actually trying to do some writing. And she said, well, what's your idea? And I said, well, my idea is that in today's world, sometimes all it takes is a kind word or a little something to help somebody, just the smallest thing to help them out, just one little thing. And she said, well, that sounds kind of dark for a country song. And I said, He Stopped Loving Her Today is pretty dark too. And she said, well, you're right about that. I said, what are you doing? She said, well, I'm trying to write something, but I don't have an idea yet. And I said, well, let me know what you got, and maybe I can come up with a music bed for you. And she said, where are you on working on this song? I said, well, I've kind of got a music bed together. I always write better if I've got music, and then I try and write lyrics to it.
Oh, okay.
And so I said, I've got a music bed for it. And she said, can you send that to me? Let me hear it. And I said, sure. It was 10:30 at night. So I sent it to her and got up at 5:30 the next morning, which is when I usually hit the floor, came to the studio. There was lyrics and a vocal cut for that track I had done.
Oh,
and she called me when she woke up and she said, I have one request. She said, can we change the name to Just One Little Thing? I said, certainly. So we recorded that. No plans were made for an album. Joy said, I am not doing another album. I'm through doing albums. In fact, the one that she had just finished was called That Says It All.
That says it. I like that name.
Which was going to be her final album. Well, things progressed, and she said, I'm just about 3 songs away from having a new album. I said, I thought you weren't doing a new album. She said, well, shut up.
Stop it, Gary.
So she put together the album. We worked together, getting everything together. We were fortunate that somebody in New Zealand volunteered to do a video to go with the title cut. And she she entered it in the ISA Awards for last year and took home International Album of the Year.
Bravo. Bravo. Love it, man. That is great.
So, and since then, we've just continued to write together. We talk just every day or two about music. And we, after the ISA Awards last year, we were talking, and I said, you know, everybody's confused about what to do to get their music out there.
Sure.
Everybody's struggling. They don't know what to do. I said, we're missing the boat. Between you and I together, we have the information to help people get their music out and not make missteps in this business and lose control of their music. Right. And she said, so you think we could help? And I said, I think we could. So we formed Indie Music Consultants, which is indiemusicconsultants.online, not .com. And we're set up to be kind of a clearinghouse to give people information about what they are doing, what they're not doing, how to do what they're doing, what steps to make. The information's out there for everybody. It's just knowing the steps to take and what order to do them to not lose control of your music.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
You know, so many times songwriters, they write a song and they say, hey, I've got this great new song. I'm going to put it up on Facebook. And they stick it up on Facebook. They've lost control at that point.
Yeah. You didn't think it out.
And I've done it. Joy's done it. I'm sure you have. Just about 99.99% of the people you talk to has done that.
Yeah, because it's the excitement that sometimes we just can't control. We want it out there as fast as we can, but
that's
slow
right.
down a little bit. Yeah. Learn to pull the reins back just a little.
Yeah, you know, and it's just very minor things, adjustments to what they're doing to make sure that they keep control. If you lose control of your music in any step, then you're not going to get paid for it.
That's true. Very true.
The income that comes through streaming is so small in today's world. You're not going to make any money that way, and you definitely don't want to leave any money on the table if you can keep from it.
No, not at all. Not at all. And that's wonderful. Now, you and Joy put that together, that coalition or those consultants and stuff. Now, is this a weekly thing, or is this something you get a group of people together and you talk to them? How does this work?
We've had some meetings with different people. I had one last year in Thomaston, Georgia, with some songwriters that was well received, and all of them gained valuable information about what to do. We did one in New Zealand as well back in January of this year that was well received also. We're trying to get some songwriter things together to lecture to people and give their pointers. We even offer to sit down with somebody one-on-one so that they can come to us and say, here's what we're doing. What are we doing wrong? Where are we leaving money behind? A prime example, using Joy as an example, she released a song called Best Mom in the World. And she released it several years ago. It was written for her mother, and it did really well. There in Europe, it's done great. One of her fans, well-meaning, took the CD, bought her CD, ripped the song off of there, and put it up on YouTube. It's had over 554,000 views. There was no information on the file for Joy to be paid for it. So she has lost all that revenue stream. Well-meaning fan, nothing wrong with that. All we're telling people to do is if a fan wants to help out and do something like that, at least come back to the songwriter and get the file that needs to be shared. That way it's tagged properly. The metadata is on there. ISRC codes are on there. All that is there, and it will come back to the songwriter eventually.
Right. And with your studio, you're able to put the codes on, because a lot of studios can't put the RCA code on there.
I can put the codes on. I'm set up to put codes in for anybody that comes to me. I don't charge anything for it. A number of people are charging $25 to put an ISRC code on there. That takes 2 minutes. It's just a little documentation stuff that has to be done. Why pay somebody that kind of money to do that? We're telling people also, if you're getting your music done, be sure it's mastered. Radio will not play your music if it is not properly mastered. The data is not embedded there. And the final step of that is whoever is doing mastering is supposed to put the ISRC code on there. Then the tagging issue all disappears. Everything's there.
Yeah. You have there's no excuses, and nobody can come at you. Oh, no.
That's right. That's right.
That is beautiful. That's great. Now, are you going to continue to collaborate, make more music and stuff?
Daily.
Great. All right.
Daily. We're talking about song ideas and releases and things like that constantly. We're songwriters first. She's real strong in radio. She does radio promotion. She's got close to 2,500 radio stations in her list now that she sends to when you hire her for promotion.
Nice.
That list is growing constantly. Every day she's adding 200 to 300 more stations to that list. So it's a list that's constantly growing for her.
Well, a big shout out to Joy and you, Gary, for what you guys are doing and helping the artist out. They need it. They definitely, especially the newer ones that are coming out, they're just running out there without any information, just thinking, let me play my music, get it out there, put it online, and not do the backing that needs to be done with your music and your publicity and all that stuff, and promotions.
That's right. All of this stuff is done by record companies. Mm-hmm. The record company deal, as everybody has always strived to get, has pretty well disappeared. I mean, those deals are long gone. So, everybody has to be their own record company now. So all these little pieces of the pie have to be addressed. And if you're not willing to work that hard at it, don't quit your day job.
That's right. Exactly. You'll be doing what you're doing forever, pretty much.
I hit the floor every morning about 5:30. I read, go through everything, listen to songs, come to the studio with a cup of hot tea and sit here. And most days I will get in 3 to 4 hours of rehearsal time.
Nice. Hey, that's beautiful. If you get that much
every day, because first and foremost, I got to keep my abilities up as far as what I can do. Second thing is, when somebody hires me to play something, I got to be sure I can play it. That's the second thing. And then just staying on top of what's happening in the industry. There's so many things that change so quickly. That you better read every day about new emerging trends. So a lot of my time is spent paying attention to that as well.
What's coming up? Okay. Yeah. And it's incredible how fast in 30 or 25, 30 years, everything just flip-flopped around. I mean, from not analog to digital. We're not putting posters on telephone poles anymore. It's all online. It's a press of a button, and it's worldwide.
That's right. That's right. I never had intentions of touring New Zealand to play, but this past May, Joy lined up a tour for me to come over, and we had a number of dates, and all but a couple of them pretty well sold out.
Really?
So yeah,
Wow. Well,
so
excellent.
it was a great time. I'm hoping to go back again sometime in the next 6 months or so.
Well, that's great. Now let's talk about you as a musician and piano player and stuff, which is just amazing stuff. Before we talk about music, tell everybody on Podcast Land where they can find your music once we start talking about it. What platforms you on?
Okay, I am on all the platforms: Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube. Go to any of them. Go stream any of them. Download and purchase if you want to. Uh, it, make more money off of downloads, obviously, but if your preferred platform you want to go to is Amazon Music, I'm on there. I'm set up with Songcast Music for distribution. A lot of people are not familiar with Songcast.
No.
They don't typically distribute to 151 different locations for music to be streamed, but they distribute to the ones that are going to pay in the long run.
There, yeah, exactly.
And I see better payments overall from them than anywhere else. All averaged out on my streaming, I receive about a penny for every 4 streams.
That's terrible. Terrible this day and age.
Well, when you compare that to what many people are getting, a penny for every 300 streams.
Oh, no. That's just an insult.
Yeah. Also, with what I've started noticing is my YouTube things sometimes will pay as much as 7 cents a stream.
No, it's not too bad at all right there.
That's not too bad. You take that 550,000 streams that Joy missed out on, that's a chunk of change.
That's a little bit of change there. Yes, it is. Oh, and your songs and videos and stuff have got a lot of streams too.
Yes.
Your music's worldwide.
Yes. I watch where my stuff is being played, where the streams are happening. I'm signed up with SongStats that lets you monitor daily. It updates a couple of times a day so that you can see where your streams are coming up at, where you're getting most at, what cities they're playing in. And by doing that, I can see what countries are also hot to play my music.
Yeah,
I do a lot of instrumentals. Most of my music is instrumental. I do write lyrics. I don't consider myself a great lyricist. I call on other people to help me for that. But writing instrumentals for me has always been very easy. I did a instrumental when I was in the 4th grade. Wrote my first one then.
Whoa!
So I've been writing my whole life. I mean, this isn't something new, but it kind of burns me many times for songwriters for 2 reasons. Many songwriters say, "Oh, I'm a country songwriter," or "I'm a gospel songwriter," or "I'm a rock songwriter." No, you're a songwriter.
Right, you're an artist. Yeah.
It's to be left up to the interpretation of the producer and the artist how that song's going to be performed. To try and classify it down to being a country song, well, you're going to shut out a whole lot of people real quick if you say, "Oh, I'm a country songwriter."
Yeah, don't generalize yourself. Don't ever do that.
That's right. So, as a consequence of the way I write some things that are more orchestral sounding, some are more blues sounding, some are more jazz, some are more country, some are more rock and roll.
There you go. It's just the mood you're in, I guess, and what comes to your fingertips.
Well, that's right. Sometimes it can be a song that I've heard on the radio and I say, boy, I like the feel of that. And I come back and try and create something with that feel. Or I'm watching my stream count, and if I'm seeing Portugal, Spain, Argentina, Brazil playing something like I wrote Quanta Custa, that's more Latin sounding. It was written for the Portuguese market because I was getting tons of streams there. And I said, I'm going to write something that's going to appeal to them.
You might as well. That is wonderful, Gary. My goodness. Oh, my. Now, when you go out and tour and you play and stuff, now you've played in front of a lot of people and you've done some smaller venues. Which you like better, the smaller venues where the people are kind of on top of you, or you like being on a bigger stage with a bigger audience out
there? Either one.
Either one?
Yeah. Either one. Either one. I've played things where there's been 15 people there, and I've played things where there's been 5,000 there. But it doesn't matter to me as long as the people are enjoying what they're hearing.
Yeah, that matters. That's what counts. It doesn't matter whether
play to the audience. Play to the audience. Don't try and be something more than what you are all the time. Don't put on a false front. Be yourself and do what comes natural to you.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that and put that out there. Now, there's some songs I was listening to that just rocked me, and I love them. And this first one right here, Blues Bird Jump.
Yeah, that was actually written as kind of a I wasn't planning on putting that song out and one other one that you may mention. Wasn't planning on putting them up for sale. I just did it for the fun of doing it. I played Hammond organ a lot growing up on the Hammond and loved playing Hammond. Had a Porta B. I don't know if you know what that is. It's a B3 Hammond organ, except it's a portable. Had one of those and loved playing it. So I have a new software package that was a B3 and just loved how it worked. And I said, I'm going to do a track for that. So I put together Blues Bird Jump, played it for Joy, and Joy said, you really should do something with that. So I put it up online, and in 3 months had over 500,000 streams.
Whoa! I mean, I see why, because when I'm listening to it, I'm hearing the organ, I'm thinking, that's a Hammond B3. And I got it right here on my notes, Hammond B3. I know my organ. Oh, yeah. And one of my very, very good friends that you probably know is very famous for playing the Hammond B3 on stage.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and he's a sound engineer too. Robin Robbins.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine, and we'll hang out in the studio from time to time. So so he'll play the old Bob Seger songs and stuff that he helped co-write, and it's like, hey, you want to stop that? I listened to it all through the 70s and 80s. We're going to get some work done now.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I booked him a gig, and he wanted his B3 Hammond, and it took a little searching to find a B3 Hammond that he used to use, in the 70s. And but I did get it, and we got it to the venue. So that sound, that's a Hammond B3 when you hear it.
Yeah. Well, the software that I'm using to give me the Hammond, the company that manufactured it actually spent as much time in creating the Leslie speaker to go with the Hammond as the Hammond. And they've tweaked it down to the point that, one of the things that like Greg Allman and Jimmy Smith, a lot of people, they had their own Hammonds that they carried with them everywhere. The reason they did that, they had a technician go in there and change out capacitors in the design of it to give it a certain sound. This software company has even taken it down to that point so that you can change out to different capacitors on it. It does voltage robbing, that they call it. As you turn on each of the drawbars, there's not enough voltage to make everything work, so it robs voltage from places.
From these other
It's it's just incredible. I've had other producers say, "What model is your B3? What year is it? And what 122 do you have?" And I hate to tell them, it's software.
It's
So
software. Trying to find that old B3 is not easy sometimes. Well, no.
that's right. That's right.
Well, let's do another song here. And I'm going to go to this route because you did some Christmas songs.
Oh, yeah.
And I love it. I love it. I mean, it was What Child Is This? Beautiful. I mean,
Right.
your rendition of these songs are just incredible, my friend. You are a beautiful
Thank
musician.
you. Thank you. I did that Christmas album. Somebody said, "Well, why don't you do a Christmas album?" And I said, "Well, I don't want to do a traditional Christmas album per se, but I want to do, Christmas carols so that everybody knows what they are." And a friend of mine said, "Well, you're a country piano player. Why don't you do a country Christmas album?" I said, "Okay." So that's where I headed with it. That's the reason why Hark the Herald Angels Sing has a banjo playing on
it. There you go. You got to have a little twang in there.
That's right.
That's wonderful. Oh, we're already at 46 minutes. So let's see if we can get a couple more questions in before we go take off. We can talk for hours. I can talk with you for hours, Gary. Not a problem. I don't feel like I'm doing an interview here. This is great. What other song was Let the Chips Fall Where They May? I like that.
Let the Chips Fall. That was the other one that I wasn't going to release, and I sent it to Joy, and she said, "Whoa, that's a different sound for you." She said, "I love that. Why don't you put it up online?" And I said, "Nobody's going to listen to that." And she said, "Oh, I think they will." And it's taken off just like Bluesbird Jump. It's not hit quite as many streams, but we're at about 400,000 streams on it.
Bravo, Gary. Bravo. Oh, my goodness. Are we expecting some new music out of you?
I will be doing some new things. I've got an album that I actually put together 3 years ago that is all organ based as the main instrument. I put it up online with a different company and pulled it right back down because I realized they were not going to do the distribution properly. And I just said, I'm not going to put it back up for a while. So I'm going through and remastering and tweaking the mixes a little bit. So hopefully I'll have it up before the end of the year as well.
Very nice. I want to continue to hear more great music from you, Gary, definitely. Now, let me ask you this question here. Is there anybody out there that you look up to as far as a keyboard piano player?
Well, they are passing away very quickly. Joey DeFrancesco was an incredible organist, jazz organist, that I loved how he played. But Joey was extremely overweight, and he ended up passing away a little while back. But really hate that. And one of my heroes always was Ray Charles.
Ray Charles, there you go. I love it. Ray Charles.
Because Ray, great singer, great pianist, great organist that a lot of people didn't realize, and a great arranger. He would get with somebody to actually score parts for him that he would sit and play the parts on a Hammond organ and show them what he wanted them to write. And he wrote a lot of arrangements. Just really loved everything that he did. And we've really lost a treasure when he passed.
Oh, I agree with you there, Gary. I agree with you there. And I'll even go as far back to say Liberace. I mean, he was very flamboyant.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I used to go to all the Liberace shows when he came to Chattanooga.
That's beautiful. and you probably got a rhinestone coat in the closet, maybe?
No, not quite. A few little sequins here and there, maybe, but
right on. Exactly. I don't have my platform shoes out anymore. Oh, brother. Anyways, but Gary, we're running on 50 minutes, my friend. We need to do another show again because there's a lot more I want to find out about you, my friend. And what you're
Well,
doing for the artists out there, communicating with them and teaching them and helping them out. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for doing that.
thank you so much for everything that you do for the artists too. There's not a whole lot of places that people can get great interviews done and done professionally and up online so that everybody can watch. So
Well,
thank you as well.
well, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And you're coming back on sooner than later, okay, Gary?
Okay,
So,
look forward to it.
good deal. So, everybody on podcast land, check out Gary Farmer's music on all the platforms out there. You're going to love it. I mean, you're multi-genre, so you just listen. You will love something. Oh, yeah, definitely out there. Yes. And if he's out performing in New Zealand, Australia, or wherever in America, or what other country, get to the concert, get to the show. Oh, yes. And jump on stage
Thank
with
you
him.
very much. Thank you. All artists need support.
Yes, we
They
do.
need support.
They do need the support, exactly, and that's what we're here for, to support them, exactly. So everybody on podcast land, check out Gary Farmer, of course, and I thank each and every one of you for checking out the No Cover TV podcast. Stay tuned because we got a lot more great interviews coming up from people around the world, all different countries, genres, and age groups. It's a great thing. I love it. I love what I do. I'm not going to stop. You're not getting rid of Big Al, and you're not getting rid of Gary either. Oh no, we're going to make that music get out there. So Gary, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for coming on the No Cover TV podcast, my friend, and keep in touch, please.
Thank you very much, Al. We'll be in touch.
Definitely, my friend, and we'll set up another time to have our second part. Good
All
deal.
right.
All right, my friend.
Thank
So
you.
everybody on the podcast land, don't go anywhere, Gary. We're out of here. So see you next time. Peace.